What if I told you that right now, in this exact moment, a pattern that has only appeared 3 times in the last 100 years is quietly forming again? Not in the stock market, not in real estate, not in crypto, in silver. And every single time this pattern showed up in history, the people who recognized it early didn't just make money. They changed their financial lives forever. While everyone else was sleeping, they were positioning. While the news was distracted, they were buying. And when the explosion finally came, they were already sitting on the other side of it. That's what this video is about. Because right now, today, the same conditions that triggered the 3 biggest silver explosions in modern history are all lining up at once. And if you give me the next 9 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what this pattern is, why it's back, and why analysts who have been watching precious metals for decades are quietly calling this the most important silver setup they have ever seen. Let's start at the beginning. Go back 100 years. The 1920s. The world is coming out of a devastating war. Government debt is piling up. Paper money is being printed faster than anyone wants to admit. The financial establishment is telling the public everything is fine. Trust the system. Trust the currency. Don't worry. And then silver moved. It didn't make headlines at first. It never does. But it moved. And the people who were paying attention, the ones who understood what was really happening underneath the surface, they saw it coming before anyone else did. That was the first time. The second time was 1979, going into 1980. You've probably heard about the Hunt brothers. Most people think they caused the silver rally. They didn't. They accelerated something that was already in motion. And what was really driving it was stagflation, dollar debasement, real interest rates going deeply negative, and an entire generation losing confidence in paper money. Silver started that run at $6 an ounce. Within 2 years, it hit $49.45. That is an 800% run in 2 years. Then the third time, 2010 going into 2011. The Federal Reserve had just finished its first round of mass money printing following the financial crisis. Most people were still trying to figure out what had just happened to the economy. Silver was sitting quietly around $9 an ounce. And then it ran. Straight back to $49 again. 3 different decades. 3 completely different sets of headlines. 3 different reasons the mainstream gave for what was happening. But underneath all of it, the same force. Every single time. The destruction of confidence in paper currency. Now here's the question you need to be asking yourself. What is happening in the world right now? Global debt is at the highest level in recorded human history. Central banks are holding more gold than they have in decades. Because they know something the public hasn't figured out yet. Countries around the world are actively working to reduce their dependence on the US dollar. Real interest rates have been negative or near zero for so long that an entire generation of investors has never seen a normal rate environment. And silver? Silver is sitting right around $30 an ounce. When those 3 previous explosions happened, the setup was never as clear as it is right now. Never as broad, never as globally synchronized. This is not a small story. This is a 100-year pattern showing up for the 4th time. Now let me show you something that most people have never heard of. It's called the gold to silver ratio. And right now it is one of the most important numbers in the financial world. The ratio simply tells you how many ounces of silver it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold. Right now that number is sitting near 85. Meaning silver is so cheap relative to gold that you need 85 ounces of it to equal 1 ounce of gold. The historical average of that ratio is 47 to 1. During the peak of previous silver runs, when the pattern fully played out, that ratio compressed all the way down to 15 to 1. Sometimes even 10 to 1. Think about what that means in real numbers. If gold stays exactly where it is today and the ratio simply returns to its historical average, silver more than doubles, just from normalization alone. And if the ratio compresses to where it has gone during peak silver cycles, if gold continues to rise the way central banks are clearly betting it will, then you're not talking about silver at $50. You're not talking about $75. You're talking about triple digits, $100 per ounce of silver and beyond. That is not a fantasy. That is not hype. That is basic arithmetic applied to a pattern that has already played out 3 times in living memory. But here is what makes this moment genuinely different from anything that has come before it. Silver is no longer just a monetary metal. It has become one of the most strategically critical industrial materials on the planet. And the demand coming from industry right now is something the silver market has simply never had to absorb before. Solar panels require silver. There is no substitute. Every single panel installed anywhere in the world contains silver. And global solar installation is growing at a rate that is consuming more than 20% of the entire world's annual silver supply, a number that was almost zero 15 years ago. That number is projected to double again before the end of this decade. Electric vehicles require silver, semiconductors require silver, the artificial intelligence build-out, all those data centers, all that processing power requires silver. Medical devices require silver. The electrification of the entire global economy runs on silver. And the mines are not keeping up. Silver supply has been essentially flat for years. There's no massive new discovery sitting in the pipeline. There's no surge in production coming to save the market. The gap between what the world needs and what the ground can provide is getting wider every single quarter. So let's bring this all together. You have a metal that is historically undervalued on a monetary basis, with a gold to silver ratio stretched to extremes not seen in decades. You have industrial demand accelerating faster than at any point in history. You have supply that cannot keep up. You have a global currency confidence crisis building in the background. You have central banks quietly stacking gold while telling the public everything is fine. And you have a 100-year pattern that has only shown up 3 times before. And every single time, silver exploded. Now it's showing up for the 4th time. Here is something that never gets taught in school, but that every serious student of financial history knows to be true. Every major paper currency in the history of civilization has eventually failed. The Roman denarius, the Weimar mark, the Zimbabwean dollar, the Venezuelan bolivar, every single one, without exception, was eventually debased, inflated, or completely destroyed. And every single time one of those currencies collapsed, people who held silver didn't just protect their wealth, they multiplied it. Because when trust in paper breaks down, human beings go back to what has always held value across every culture, every civilization, every century: gold and silver. We are not in normal times. Anyone telling you we are is either not paying attention or not being straight with you. The early tremors of a major monetary shift are already being felt. And silver, small, overlooked, underpriced silver, is sitting right at the epicenter. Now, I want to be clear about something important. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Everyone's situation is different. Before you make any financial decision, do your own research and speak with a qualified professional who understands your personal circumstances. But I will say this: the people who built life-changing wealth during the silver run of 1980 were not sophisticated Wall Street insiders. They were not hedge fund managers with Bloomberg terminals. They were ordinary people who simply paid attention before the crowd did, before the mainstream media was covering it, before your neighbor was talking about it over dinner, before it was obvious to everyone. By the time silver is the headline story on every financial channel, by the time everyone at work is talking about it, by the time you can't avoid hearing about it, that window will be closed. The move will already have happened, and the people sitting on the gains will be the ones who acted when it was still quiet, when it still felt early, when most people were still dismissing it. Right now it still feels early. The pattern is back. The conditions are more aligned than they have been in 100 years. The math points in one direction. The only question is whether you're going to be the person who looks back on this moment and says, I saw it, I understood it, I acted. Or the person who looks back and says, I heard about it, I just didn't think it would really happen. If what you just heard made you think, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go even deeper, the full data breakdown, the exact price targets, the complete step-by-step analysis of what comes next, that is all in the next video. Don't wait too long. With a setup like this, time is the one thing you cannot get back.